come from? Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
All right, and we are getting into the download. That's right. This week we got everything in gaming and technology wrap up. We got state of play to talk about. We got a rumor for a PlayStation Vita 2, as well as Germany is banning loot boxes. We got a great panel here to talk about it. Let's go through the panel and see what everybody is up to this week and what everybody has been playing on. Let's start at the top. Callie, what's been going on?
Nothing much. Been playing some Lethal Company, been playing some Elden Ring, and if you guys didn't catch my last stream, played some Dragon's Dogma, which is fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing. What about you, Wilson? What have you been up to gaming this week?
Oh, mate, you don't even have to ask. You know what I've been playing all week because you've been watching me torture myself and you've been laughing and coaching me through it, right? It's been Sekiro. It's been Sekiro or whatever you want to call it. Shadows Die Twice. And that has been brutal. But, mate, what a game. What a game. Can I just kind of echo your sentiment on it for a sec? I love that game. It is the best thing I've played from software so far. I can't believe that came out before Elden Ring, but it did. I can't wait to go through it even more.
Yeah, it's an absolute masterpiece. I've always said it, chef's kiss, as I like
Mhm.
to say. But yeah, great game. Maker of Chaos. What have you been on playing gaming this week?
I've been playing Elden Ring, played a bit of Alan Wake 2, and I've played a little bit of a Silent Hill game, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Oh yes, the short message.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna dive into a little bit of that. SPG, what's been going on this week? What have you been gaming on? Tell us.
Man, I took the week off from streaming, but I'm still playing with some folks. I did some BG3, I think, with you and Nads on Tuesday and Monday. That's a lot of fun. But I've been jumping back into Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm attempting, possibly, maybe, if I don't want to scratch my own eyes out, get platinum on that game. It's very hard. There's so many challenges, but it is a hell of a lot of fun. And as you just said, I think Red Dead 2 is a chef's kiss to gamers, man. It's so immersive, and it's just a robust and vibrant world. Love it.
I have to agree. Red Dead Redemption was the first game I got on Stadia, and I don't think I turned on anything else for 3 to 4 months straight. it was just me in Red Dead World. That single player game is so immersive, so huge. Get lost in it and just enjoy yourself. But I want to get on to Squids. Squids is a huge gamer. He games on absolutely everything under the sun. But let people know what you've been gaming on this week.
For this week, let's see. Hasn't been too busy because there's a power outage at the start of this week. So I was like, nah. So that always has to, throw a kink into the plan. But mostly though is Apex, and then we played some Pokemon, and then Pal World really. And Pokemon yesterday we got a shiny Luxray, so that was pretty cool on stream. And yeah, just really been playing that and working towards getting all the Pokemon. Got to catch them all because essentially you get like a special reward at the end. You get a higher chance for a shiny Pokemon, basically. And yeah, gonna be doing that for a couple of these games and playing Pal World and everything else in between.
Nice, nice. Well, thanks for sharing. Power World is a huge hit this past coming couple weeks, and we'll get into that as well. But Ray, I want to know what you've been gaming on this week. Tell us about it.
First of all, I got to send a huge shout out to Cloud Dosage. They hooked up my son with an Xbox Series X, so big shout out to Cloud Dosage for that. And I've been playing. I mean, I'd be lying. I've been also playing some FC24 on it while he's not on it, playing some football. Also, a little Silent Hill game on the PS5, which was a stealth drop, which we'll be talking about that a little bit later. But glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So, without further delay, let's get into the big story of the week, and that is the PlayStation Showcase. We had that coming through this week. So many games. However, we all have some dissenting opinions. I myself feel like there was some outstanding games for me. Stellar Blade was definitely one I'll be getting day one. The Last Ronin showed a lot of cool aspects, flying, open world, fast combat, grappling around like Sekiro, some real cool elements that grabbed me. However, a lot of the games that we saw, I feel like we have seen before. There was not many new things that I felt were coming out of the showcase. We had some dates that filled up the earlier part of the year, but we're really left at a mystery for what's happening in the second part of the year. What did people think about the showcase? I mean, I myself am a little bit iffy, as I'm saying, what was really new shown, and I felt like what they should have shown us was deeper dives. I wanted to see deep dive into Helldivers 2. What are we gonna get with the big DLC, the expansion pack for it? Like they did with Spider-Man 2. They gave us a huge deep dive into it. I don't know. What did you guys think? Was it enough? Was it exactly what you expected? I know I wanted Elden Ring personally to drop and run through there, but I wasn't gonna get
that's the
that.
thing. See, that's the thing. When these showcases come, everybody thinks they're gonna see this and this and this, and there's all this speculation. And then when people don't see what game is on there, they're a little, butthurt. But I saw the showcases. I don't know what, like, I mean, it was what, 40 minutes? What is it, an hour? Uh,
Yep. Oh, an
but
hour
I,
long,
I,
right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
about
I
43
don't
minutes,
really,
I believe.
I really don't know too many showcases that really like just blew me away with games. That's what they do. They tease. They try to entice you to get your juices flowing for what's coming up later on in the year and next year. But I have to say, I'm a huge love me some Kojima. Death Stranding 2. I thought the clips, like, what am I watching? The from the little puppet to the hands on the chick's shoulders, which I saw a picture of those hands holding a handheld video game. She's actually playing, but I thought, I mean, I won't say it was spectacular, and I won't say it's bad. I mean, I'll say it was an average showcase, but the games Judas, Death Stranding 2, and Ronin, and like Sonic Generations. Come on, dude. But there you go. That's what I thought. I gave it average showcase.
No, and that's
Oh, and the
perfectly
stealth
fair.
demo. You got a stealth demo, which I actually played right after the showcase.
And how did you feel about yourself after? Well, maybe we'll get into that afterwards. But let's talk about
Yeah, let's get
everybody
yeah.
else's raw emotions after the showcase. Does anyone else want to express how they feel? Maker, SPG, Wilson, Callie, Squids. Why don't we start with Squids? Did you watch the showcase? How did you feel about it?
I got little snippets of it. I'm, if anything, the weirdness and craziness of the game Death Stranding 2, with that like lightning guitar thing that girl had or whatever. That shit was crazy. But
Yeah, the Joker, or what? I mean, he looked like the Joker with some sort of white painted face,
That
and then
person's
with
being
that good.
that person's voiced by Troy Baker, by the way.
Yeah, he was in the first game.
Huh.
Really, the guitar hero, I'll call him
Yeah,
that.
the guitar guy. Yeah.
With the thunder. Oh man.
Yeah, he came back in two. That's he had like the gold mask in the first game. He was also voiced by Trip. Well, it's the same character.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, yeah, it's good to see returning characters bringing so much excitement. Obviously, there was a lot of people who didn't play the game if they didn't recognize him right away. I myself tried to get through it, but I know after seeing that trailer, I know it's going to be something that I'll try to push through a little bit further, try to get past those early walking points, and hopefully get those guns and vehicles, because I have yet to see that in the first hour to 2 hours of playing the game.
You get him eventually, but it's definitely not the focus of the game. Most of the game, you will be walking.
Yeah, see
or
now, all right.
traversing.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did check out some Death Stranding 2 stuff. And Death Stranding 2, I have an unpopular opinion. I think it's a really cool mechanic-focused game. I think it's beautiful, but I don't think you can almost call it a game. That's why a lot of people called it a walking simulator. It's so true. And if the second game is just really cool story and cutscenes mixed together with a walking simulator again, there has to be more to it, or I'm not even interested. I got through the first game about halfway through the game. I just went up over the mountains or whatever the hell, and I'm telling you, I did not go back to that game. The story
I
was
think
cool.
he had a gun. I think there's a showing where he had a gun.
Yeah, but then the
well,
show cutscene
there
where they
are-
take the gun away.
There are weapons and stuff further in the game where you're fighting bigger BOs, but
Right.
Well,
But my point is, though, is that what they showed us was a hell of a lot more of the same. And I'm just curious if any of you are worried about that in any way, shape, or form, because the first game was really cool, but it's almost not a game. There's almost no game to it. There's no NPCs. You're looking at like I realized the second one it did show some actual live people, but you're like dealing with screens and stuff. You're not actually dealing with real people, and there's a disconnect there. And I hope they fix those things for the next game, because it really made me stop
Well,
playing.
to be fair, there's different types of games. There's more than just first person shooting games. There's more than just RTS turn based games. There's like different types of games. There's stealth games. There's and you can say that that's kind of like stealth because you're trying to hide from those beings and not get seen or not get caught. So, me, there was fight. I remember fighting and doing the walking simulator and fighting and driving, and there was a story.
I beat up
And
some
don't forget
people.
that it did win an award. It won an award.
Yeah. I'm not shitting on the title. I'm just because it was it's got some interesting mechanics and stuff. I'm just saying they need to build. You can't just release another game with the same tweaked mechanics, and I mean they do it all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
They
Look,
do
I mean,
that
look
all
at
the
Grand
time.
Theft Auto.
That's
I
true.
guarantee you, no matter what they do, this game's gonna be a hit. Guarantee you.
I think it's going to be successful. I do wonder how successful, because I do, based on the trailer, it does look like it's very much the
Kojima
same
has
game.
a huge following. He has a huge following.
Similar. I would go into Death Stranding 2 expecting something similar from Death Stranding 1. And I feel like that's going to be a criticism like it was last time where people were saying it was a FedEx simulator and
How far
stuff
apart are
like
those
that.
two games? How far apart are they?
Like year-wise, like when they
Yeah.
released.
How many years? Yeah. Are
I
those
think it's
two
like
games
about 5 years.
Mm.
I
mean, usually when they make a game and they want to reuse those mechanics and they want to reuse some of the assets and they want to expand the story and stuff, they push out the game within 2 years because they've got most of the stuff.
I do want to point out another game that
They're
might have had
probably
a similar
expanding it, is what I'm
discussion.
saying. If it took 5 years, they probably expanded a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, they also showed a lot of new environments because, like, I don't know if you remember the first game. The first game was a lot similar environments. I think the most varied one was probably the mountains, but that was about it. And this one, like, it showed the desert. You know, it showed like what looked like the surface of the moon. They got new, creature types, new. I'm sure there's new weapons, right? But most of like the gameplay that they showed was focused on travel. So I would expect more travel than not.
If they can make the game as interesting as the story, what you play is as interesting as the story, I think they'll have a massive hit on their hands for sure.
Well,
I think the story was great in the first one, but
go ahead, Callie.
I do want to put out as well that Legend of Zelda has had a similar conversation when not Breath of Tears of the Kingdom. We saw clips and stuff. We all were a bit worried because it looked exactly like Breath of the Wild. So it for all we know, it could be similar, and but they also could add more on top of it.
You're hitting on a good point there because a lot of people said that Death Stranding 1 was Kojima testing out some next gen mechanics. It was him testing out a lot of these new things, but it wasn't really them at full fruition. It was very much a pilot. And it was received well, and it was also received controversially. But it was almost, that was a big testing, right? Now Death Stranding 2 is going to round out a lot of those mechanics. It's going to add on to a bunch of them. But I think my whole thing about what we saw a lot while also seeing very little, right? It was a great marketing tactic, right? They showed us a lot of great landscapes. They showed us some really, really cool graphics, but these mechanics that were the hinge points of what Death Stranding 1 were, they didn't talk about the development of those. We didn't see them in effect. And I think it's going to be hard to showcase that. I say that, but they had half an hour. It wasn't really hard to showcase that. I think they just held back on that because they're probably still working on rounding them out. But I think it was a great display. But again, we saw a lot while still seeing very little in that. A lot, what I mean?
It was visually, it was a visual spectacle, but I'm curious about mechanics wise. Yeah.
The first game was him going connecting America. Now he's trying to connect Mexico.
And don't forget he's also working on that other game.
So I'm pretty.
Well, he said he's only working on the espionage game after the Death Stranding 2 has been completed.
I would not expect
the spiritual successor to Metal Gear, right? That's the one that everyone's calling the next.
It took 2 hours for Twitter to claim that. Yeah.
I'm talking about the Xbox
People are
one.
Calling it that. He never did. People are. Yeah.
I'm talking about the Xbox Cloud one. That's what I'm talking about. He's also working on that one as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't expect. I wouldn't expect the action espionage game until at least like 4 or 5 years after, Death Stranding 2. So that's like a 2029 game at like the earliest.
Well, I think you said it right, where I think we heard about possibly the second PS6 game to hit the sales, because obviously Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to transcend this generation and move on to the next one. So this is probably the second game we've heard of coming to next gen consoles.
What? It's not going to be on the PS5? What?
Probably not.
How could it? It's the next console.
How could it? How the dates don't match up? I mean, if he has to finish Death Stranding 2, which comes out in 2025, and then he's going to start this brand new game, which takes 5 years, you're taking into 2030 at that point.
Dude, I strongly believe that you're not getting GTA 6 on the PS5. I think you're going to get it on the PS6. That's just my opinion. I'm probably wrong, but
Or the
Well, it's
PS5 Pro, or whatever
Pro.
that new iteration's going to be. You don't even think on that?
no, it'll be
No,
on the
it'll.
PS6. No, the specs they gave you for the PS5 Pro, that might be the PS6 or a beefed up version of that. We don't know, but I don't think maybe they get the Pro, but I'm just saying, man, by the time that game releases, same with Elder Scrolls 6. I don't think you're playing that on the PS5. You're not. You're going to be playing it
Yeah.
on the PS6.
Well, it definitely won't be at 60 FPS on the consoles if we do get it.
That's true.
But
That's true.
you did it.
Can
You
I just
said it
round out my
well. I
thoughts
want.
on the overall? Oh, sorry, Ru. I was just gonna say, can I round out my thoughts on the overall thing, the
Yeah, go for
showcase?
it.
I
Wilson.
just want to
Go
say,
for it.
because I don't think we got into Death Stranding before we ended up going around the whole table on that one. I just wanted to
Oh,
say,
I'm still jumping into the games.
oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I really very much see it like we're all used to E3, right? That's my idea of it. We're used to these E3s and we're used to these big, massive things. And now we got Xbox's developer direct and we get this state of play, and we're all kind of a little meh. And I can understand why. It's just not the same thing as what we got 4 or 5 years ago, right? 4 or 5 years ago, we all got it all at once, and we all got the next 5 years of everyone's everything, the PC and the PlayStation and the Xbox and all the technology was all in July or June or whenever E3 was. You know what I mean? And now it's kind of split up in little segments throughout the year. It's just not as exciting when we get like these reveals, even though these reveals are really interesting stuff. I'm sure when we get to all of these games that we're talking about, we're gonna have a lot of fun with them, right? But it's just not as exciting as seeing that the whole next 5 years of technology and gaming all at once like we used to.
No, that's
Yeah.
a fair point. I would say that. But
I
yeah, go Maker.
I was just gonna say, to me, like I thought it was a decent show. It wasn't great to me, but then again, to me, like the highlight of the show obviously was Death Stranding 2 because they did kind of a deep dive on that. Um, it I'm particularly like the biggest fan of Death Stranding. I think it's a good game, not like a great one. Not definitely not Kojima's best. My biggest complaint, I would say, of the showcase is we had several of the biggest titles with no release date whatsoever. Like Silent Hill 2 remake, no release date. No, not even like a release window. Judas, no release date or release window. Zenless Zone Zero, which is another Hoyo
Did Metro
is it
have a
Mew?
date? I forgot.
Hoyoverse game. Metro did. It said 2024, so sometime this year.
ZZZ, Squids' game that didn't have a release date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just to me like you got several
There's a
titles that with no
reason.
release date, nothing, and it just like we've seen Silent Hill 2 already. We knew it was coming. Like I feel like at this point we should be expecting like a release window.
There's a reason why they're not dropping the dates, man. Because if they realize that something's not right, that gives them a month or two to try and get it fixed or something. Because if they get a date and that game comes out and that game, come on, you know the deal. Game's buggy or there's issues, they gotta do a patch. It just if they set a date,
Well, yeah, if they, well,
they,
it doesn't have to be a date. Like at least like 2025, 2026 would be good enough for me. Like
Well, the
I
thing is,
think
they have that in studio, right? It's just when they actually hand that to the consumer. They have these dates and deadlines. They have, we plan to release on September 2025 or 2027, but it's just when they decide to give it to us, to Ray's point, because they might have a month or 3 left of tests and that goes botched up. So they don't feel comfortable giving that information over to the public to then lose trust with the public because they've got to put it back or X, Y, Z.
I think I mean there's been several titles that have already had release like years and had them delayed with like I don't ever really hear people
But
talk
then we
about
shit
God of
on
War
those
Ragnarok.
games, right? We do
Yeah.
shit
I
on
don't-
those games quite heavily when they get those delays.
I didn't hear it about God of War Ragnarok. At least I don't know anybody that really complained about that when that got pushed a year.
I'll tell you what, it does
Um,
get complained about for being pushed back, even though
It
we know it's
does.
doing terribly and it should get pushed back, is Skull of Bones. Every time it gets pushed back, we shit on it. But
No. Hey, listen. To be honest, they need to rip that Band-Aid off. They need to
The
rip the Band-Aid off
game's
and
coming
just
out in a
release
couple of
it.
weeks. Leave Skull and Bones alone. The game's coming out next week.
Good,
It's
good.
coming
Yeah, a
out.
They
couple
need
of
to rip
weeks
the
until it's
Band-Aid
delayed
off.
again, Ray. Until it's delayed again, bro.
It's only been 12 years? Come on now.
Right, but what are they going to delay it for? They're not going to revamp anything. They're not going to change it into the game everybody does want. So they might as well just release it and rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Well, there was some other games displayed there as well.
Yes.
We did see the Shadow Drop, which I don't think anyone can complain about. This is something that we've now grown to expect from these showcases, and people were a little bit let down that we didn't get that on the Xbox Developers Direct, but we did get that on the PlayStation State of Play, and that was Silent Hills: A Short Message. This game had me feeling all kinds of ways. I believe I got through about the first hour, and Maker was telling me it's about a 2-hour short little game. You play as a confused girl who's obviously been traumatized through life events, and she's in some extremely scary building. Or my synopsis of it, she took her drugs, and then she took mushrooms, and now she's where she is. Does anyone want to jump into what they thought about this? Because for me, it made me feel sick, a little bit disturbed.
Well,
I'm a little bit worried about society's current state.
I didn't play it, but I'm concerned what all of you guys are saying about it because most of you have now, right?
I felt different emotions when I played this game. I felt scared because I played it in the dark. I felt sad because you start getting the story bit by bit when she's on the phone and she's getting the text messages from two of her friends, and then you realize, holy smoke, this chick is dead. How can a dead person text you? So
Yeah.
that and then just oh my god, when she was on top of the building and she's looking down and
Oh my god, Ray. I'm getting chills right now remembering all this.
Was it that bad? Was it really that bad? Like not bad, but like immersively messed up.
So there's
clues.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To me, it wasn't. Like I felt the opposite. I felt like it tried to copy elements from PT, but didn't have the nuance of PT, and just kind of failed at that aspect. And I wasn't a huge fan of it.
First of all, if you clipped on some of the clues, it was basically talking about suicide and kids jumping off a building, and then the percentage of kids committing suicide and stuff like that. And so there's a girl. So there's a girl who she's an artist, and she does a lot of paintings and stuff like that throughout the building. The girl, you click on some of the pictures and you get certain clues and certain little stories, and then she's getting text messages from her friend. Hey, did you think about college? No, I haven't thought about college right now. I'm dealing with some stuff. And then she has a friend that's texting her that is the one who's doing all the art, the graffiti throughout the building. It's her art. And God, are we doing spoilers? Because I feel like
I don't know if we should probably stop there for spoiler warnings, but yeah, it's absolutely horrifying. I think when certain moments came in, I definitely got the chills. The running parts I was a little confused about, but it's a psychedelic thriller. I think what it does hit is it hits people with daughters. I mean, if you're a dad with a daughter and you got a PS5 and you throw this game on, you are going to be related, scared, talking to your kids after this. It's just one of those games that I think it hits a bit hard emotionally.
Yeah, because I mean, first of all, it talks about suicide. It does give you a warning about suicide. It does give you warnings of people committing mutilations to themselves and stuff like that. Like, which it's boy. I don't even make a game like that, man. I'm still kind of.
They're getting good at getting into that genre though. It's like the movies and like the TV show, like Black Mirror, right? Black Mirror is messed up in that same vein, and then we have also things like Hellblade in the same vein. Where I mean, we all had, I know a few of you have played that and said how messed up it is, right? But there was someone who was recently talking about it in our community who said they could only play so far of it because it started to mess with them. They just thought it was too schizo for. It was too psychedelic and too in your mind.
But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
graphics, oh my god.
This is where my complaint lies. Like you mentioned Hellblade. Like Hellblade does stuff with psychosis without telling you it's psychosis, right? Like they don't ever like in the game blatantly outright say it. And to
Well, they
me,
do
the
give you a
game was a
preface
bit.
when you boot up the game, don't they? You know, like those movies where
yeah.
it's like this is based off a true
Yeah.
story. At the very beginning, it does say this is
Yes,
based off
yes, it
what real
does.
psychosis is like,
Yes.
right at the very beginning. But other than
Yep.
that, in the actual game, you mean it doesn't explain it at all and doesn't reference it.
No, it doesn't. You just have to deal with like the sounds and the like visuals that change as she's going through the areas.
You never know what's real. It's in her head. You never know.
What is the best ghost story? To get a text from a dead person. Come on now. In the dark.
The problem is
you're in
it's
the
too
dark.
straightforward and too like for me anyways, it was like I kind of, especially once you get further into the demo, it gets very apparent and pretty straightforward. You know, it is about her dealing with the loss of her friend, but you'll and I guess I wished there was that nuance, that little bit of extra stuff that you could really like get into, and I didn't really see that in the game.
But it's nice to get a shadow drop regardless. It's nice to get that little surprise, a peek into the Silent Hill universe. So I don't think anyone here can argue with free content that makes you feel a certain way and that, you know, evoked emotions in Ray and in Maker relating it to other games. I don't think anyone will ever meet a memory of something you've done 10, 15 years ago. I'm sure if you loaded it up today, it would play much differently. I think everybody's memory, you know, people can relate to that in here, is retrospective and often feels better than it is. I mean, I've seen Jeff play Prince of Persia 2, and I thought that was the best stuff ever. And I look at it today, I'm like, oh my God, what was I playing back then? It's everything is a square. What happened to detail? But yeah.
Shout out to the death counter. Shout out to the death counter.
Goodness. But do you think this
Squids
is going to be similar to?
I wanted to. Sorry, David. I just wanted to jump to Squids. Did you have something to say on the Silent Hill universe or that demo free to play they gave us? I saw you people.
Fun.
Yeah. All right, awesome. I saw you peeking up before. That's why I wanted to give you some space, but no worries. Let's jump into what we're going to be seeing next and Until Dawn. So Until Dawn, it didn't give us a release date, did it? 2024. So we're getting it this year. Does everyone think it's dropping Halloween? I think it would be the perfect time to drop that bad boy. And the star power in that, I didn't even know that existed. Did anyone play the first Until Dawn in here?
I did. I liked it a lot.
And do you think it deserves a PS5 remaster? Did it look, you know, was it a Last of Us 2 situation, or do you think it'll really be handled with care and brought up?
I thought it was fine, you know. Like, I mean, yeah, I think some of the animations probably could be improved and stuff like that. I know that they're supposed to be adding extra scenes in it too. So I'll see. Like, I'll wait for the reviews for that one. But for the most part, I own it already, so I don't really need a remaster.
Would you get it for a $10 upgrade?
If it was $10 upgrade, yeah, probably. You know, it'd be a fun little thing to play during Halloween. So.
Anyone else have any experiences with Until Dawn? I know it must have been a cult classic. I mean, you got some star power in that one.
I had a friend that had streamed it, and I watched the stream, and it was pretty scary. And yeah, I saw it. Man, look, anytime you got little baby dolls in the dark, uh, like scary running down the hallway. I mean, yeah, you got me on it. I love creepy games like that, man. So yeah, I'm all for it. And I would pay $10.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that's a precedent that gets moved forward in gaming. I hope so. And okay, I'm looking at it right now. Does anyone know why that spaceship came out of the baby's mouth and why everyone's blue in Death Stranding?
No, I'm wondering if they're inside someone's body or something. That's like, and there's supposed to be cells, and I don't know. It's gonna be weird. So just if
Yeah.
you like weird, it might not be for you.
All right. Sign me up, Squid says. Hey, there's plenty of tentacles from what I remember of Death Stranding
Make
2.
her like the main character walking butt naked on the beach. I do remember him telling me about that with all the
Oh
black
my
tar all over his body. So I know he's really
Didn't you
excited
go on a
about
trip
it.
to the beach the other day? Is that what you've been looking at? That's why you want to bring it up?
I feel like the beach is a euphemism for something.
All right. Was
Dude,
anyone
look at them
disappointed?
puppets.
We went to Long Beach.
Yeah, the Wilson Poppet. We're gonna be dubbing him as.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to get that
Oh,
started.
whatever.
Did you see the little thing
Whatever.
hiss at the villain? Oh my god! I was
And
like,
isn't that a throw to Ragnarok that he goes to put it behind his butt? Is that just me, or was he trying to do? Was that a little
I think it
Easter
was
egg for?
Yeah, I think that was for Ragnarok
The
or
mirror?
God of War in general.
It could have been a prison joke. You don't know.
Oh my god.
let's not forget he still has the
I
baby.
mean, there was cells.
I think that was one of the coolest things, rocking the baby to sleep. You know, when the baby cries, he doesn't awake the. I thought that was a really awesome feature, and to have that baby back in the part 2 is pretty cool.
I think the last thing I want to say on the showcase before we move on is that I really expected, I guess, more of an Xbox Developers Direct. Maybe they spoiled us with giving us all what their inside studios are doing. I wanted to see what the PlayStation studios are doing, similar to what we got a couple weeks prior. And I think that maybe was the letdown. I didn't get to see what Bluepoint, I didn't get to see what the people behind Returnal were doing. Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, Insomniac's new DLC. But yeah, exactly. It was just things that I was hoping for that I didn't quite get, and what I got I had already known about. So, anyone else want to give some final synopsis on this before we move to the next topic?
Metro
Start at the list,
VR.
Callie.
Yeah.
Metro VR.
Yes.
Good
Yeah,
shout.
shout
Good
about it.
shout.
Good shout.
Good shout.
Man,
Good
You've
shout.
been
oh, man.
recently thrown on the VR helmet. Let me know your
Yes.
hype on it.
Man, let me tell you first, Metro, the games, all of them are just fantastic. Playing from the first all the way to the newest one, great. And then the fact that they even brought it to the VR where you now have to put on the gas mask, you have to actually tape your gas mask, and it just the thought of actually having to interact with all that and that whole universe is just that's exciting.
Yeah, I can't speak on the VR aspect, but the world building they do and the immersiveness of that world, man, where you got to keep checking your Geiger counter, you got to keep wiping your mask. That stuff is amazing and brings you right into the world. I really enjoyed Exodus quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Sign me up. Love Metro. All the games. Love the books. The VR. Man, giant mutant rats jumping at you. Oh, come on, sign me up.
I don't know
Can you
about Metro,
imagine
but-
Can you imagine facing down that bear in VR? You'd poop yourself. That bear, man. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh
Are
yeah.
we talking Baldur's Gate VR?
Seeing Ray in VR.
No. You don't want that in VR, bro.
Seeing Ray in
What?
VR definitely would be scary.
There has to.
comment.
Okay, I just want
comment.
to. I want to ask the panel here. Does anyone know of Baldur's Gate VR mod? There has to be, right?
I know that there's like a mod that any Unreal Engine like game can be transferred to VR with the mod.
I think the issue with trying to do that game in VR is the way they built the game. It might not look right because from certain perspectives it looks amazing, and then like there's a outside the border or out. There's a channel that actually dove into how they layered the game, and it's actually quite interesting. I'll have to share it with you later, Rue.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I was just curious about other
I mean,
things in Baldur's Gate and doing that in VR.
I think it'd be cool if someone turned that game into a mod where you're kind of like a D&D player, you know, moving the characters. That'd be pretty cool.
Like a DM mode.
Well, they
Yeah.
have like a demo where it's kind of like a tabletop game in VR where you're just moving
That'd
stuff.
be cool. That'd be cool.
Well, I think we saw a lot of awesome things. We've talked about some things. Did anyone else have some closing notes? Wilson, did you want to say some closing notes on the
We have
state
to
of
talk
play?
about one. Hey, we have to talk about one
Yep.
thing before you shut it down. The PS Vita 2 rumor. Come on now.
Oh,
the PSP
yeah.
was an amazing product. Once you got around buying their memory cards, man, it was a quite useful tool. And then the PS Vita was also really good, man. We're missing out on some good handhelds. Now, I realize that we have things like the Asus ROG that you can do, you know, real PC gaming in the handheld, but back in the day, man, that was amazing stuff. And I would love to see them do another handheld like that because they were very popular.
Yeah, the source we're getting from it is a little bit murky. Moore's Law is dead,
is
and it's saying
very
it's
much
a
a rumor, not
non-streaming
news.
console. Right,
Yeah.
but a lot of this rumor stuff does turn out to be
No, but just to clarify for anyone listening, it isn't any solid. There's no solid release or leaks or announcements, right? This is purely
Okay.
rumors.
Okay, so let me phrase it differently then for the whole panel. I am not in the PlayStation marketplace, okay? So it would excite me to get a PS Vita 2. How do you guys feel? Is that anything interesting to any of you?
Oh yeah. I just
1,000%.
my only issue is I want to run like solid games. I don't want it to release, and like they don't have to make their own like special games for it like they made for like the Vita or the PSP, but like at least port some of the smaller titles like indies and stuff like that so I could play physically on those. I'd really like that.
Well, the thing is, they're going to be competing with actual gaming handhelds now. Like, it's not like they're competing with a Nintendo DS. Now they're competing with Steam Decks and Logitech G Clouds and Asus ROGs. So now they're actually going to have to step up and make a gaming handheld. They're not just going to be making like the competitor to a DS. You know what I mean? It is going to have some full-fledged titles to some degree. It is going to have to have. Sorry?
The DS was a powerful thing.
Now the DS was great, but do you know what I mean? It's a different realm. It is very much a different.
Yeah, it's a
realm.
different
It's
market.
a different battle.
It's
Yeah,
a different market, pretty much.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The problem with that though is also the price point. If they do make it like strong like a ROG Ally, they're gonna have to charge like 500, which
And it's going to be the same as buying a PlayStation 5, right? Like, what choice are you going to make? Yeah.
But to Maker's point, what people would want is to be able to play it on their PlayStation and then jump over to their handheld and play that exact same game.
Yep.
Not a half, version of something to get it to work and all that. Yeah, I get it. But that would come at a price though, because it would. It's interesting. It's probably a lie. But
I also wanted to specify when this like leaked and people were talking about it. Someone from another journalist also confirmed that Microsoft is also looking into a handheld as well. So, which makes sense because especially with the popularity of the Switch.
It's a market right now. It's a big market.
Well, correct me if I'm
we all
wrong,
talk
but
about-
PlayStation released the Portal, and it did nothing but sell out constantly. And now they're maybe looking at creating a handheld that fills the void that remote play cannot fill. And I want exactly what SPG described. I want to pick up my game where I left off on a freaking handheld. That would be absolutely a
Oh,
day
yeah.
one pre-order for me.
Oh,
And you could enter
see,
into the
yeah.
PlayStation market by buying a handheld device and not a PS5 and still have the same games. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It would be cool.
Hey, I'd be down to go back to PlayStation.
I'm open to it, but I gotta see more, dude. Right now it's just speculations and
Yep.
but as
Yeah.
more stuff comes out, I'd be open to it because I'm in the market for an awesome handheld right now. Ali ROG would be that for me, but if something was to come out better, yeah, I'd be open to it.
Yeah, like honestly, I would take either or of an Xbox handheld or a PlayStation handheld. Just to me, the idea of having my PlayStation or Xbox library accessible on a handheld is awesome. You know, and I wish I had that.
Handhelds are an interesting thing, though, right? Because I mean, we're all Xstadians here, so we know how you can do that on a phone, and we've seen these Razer Kishis and these backbones and things like that. I just always wonder what's the market for gaming handhelds going to be compared to cloud gaming, or even just the power of mobile gaming. I mean, mobiles are getting pretty powerful now. Like we hear a lot of advocates.
Mhm.
Doragon is a big advocate for mobile gaming, right? There's a lot of people who are in the community, and it's I always wonder because I've tried googling the statistic difference before between mobile gaming in general and gaming handhelds, and it's really hard to find the difference. They're kind of put into the same market, but I always wonder what's the ratio, because gaming handhelds are cool, right? We all can appreciate them, but at the same time, like most mobile gamers, and we hear that mobile gaming is one of the biggest platforms for gaming today, right? Most mobile gamers are doing it on their phones. They're not doing it on these gaming handhelds. They're very
Yes,
much a new
but
thing.
so the reason the PSP was so awesome and revolutionary is once you got around their memory card fiasco that you had to buy their hardware to put in it, you could put two memory cards together with a SD card. You could put two SD cards into one thing and slide it into the slot, and you could have games on that card, every game on that card if you wanted. You could have movies on the go, and this is before an iPad. This is before your phone could do all that stuff. So it was revolutionary. It was another 4 years before you could do all that on an iPad, and didn't have the good games either.
But
Their
now
games
you
were
can.
yes.
This
Now
is
you
what I
can.
mean. I wonder what that market's going to be like. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad one. I'm not saying, oh, this new PSP is going to be terrible. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just curious. I wonder what place these gaming handhelds are going to have in the market when mobile gaming is so popular.
Well, and then it
Well,
goes to
yeah,
cloud gaming as well. You don't need a powerful handheld to.
This is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. We're all
Yeah.
Xstadians, man. We know that you don't need
So
an
most
Asus
likely,
ROG to
if
game on the go.
if Xbox is looking into a handheld, most likely it's going to be paired with their xCloud, in my
I
opinion.
mean, bro, they've just made partnerships with GFN last year. They're really
they
big
did.
into their cloud, right?
But they also promoted stuff like Asus ROG Ally and
Correct. Yeah.
and that's the thing is I think that they know that to me there's hardware is definitely a market still. It's just at the same time as we get better technology, cloud's going to improve. I mean, cloud's already seeing a surge on like Microsoft's side. They said 44, it was 44 or 41% increase in like hours
I think it
played
was
on their
44.
cloud. Yeah, on their cloud. So the thing is, like, I think if they're going to get these handhelds off, I think they should get them now because, as you're saying, mobile is a massive market, and I think everything's shifting to mobile. I think it's the fastest growing still, faster than consoles and faster than PC. And that's hard to fathom considering mobile's already so freaking large in the industry.
But I wonder how much these gaming handhelds are contributing to that. Now we're seeing so many on the market because, like I say, as you say, mobile gaming is a massive market. It's bigger than consoles have ever been at the minute. But that's always been down to mobiles, right? But these gaming handhelds, you try and Google how they separate. They don't really separate. They just put mobile gaming of smartphones and gaming handhelds all into the same category. I wonder how much the gaming handhelds contribute to that.
The handhelds are considered like tablets or well, not tablets, but more like PCs, I believe. they
But
don't
they
really
still fit
consider
into the
them even
mobile
Walmart.
gaming category, I believe, right? I think they still go into the mobile
Not
gaming
when
market.
not when they do like the revenues.
Okay.
That's still all mobile. It wouldn't count it because it's a Windows or like a Linux PC
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
these. So they would probably fall into the PC market because it'd be
Mhm.
looking at Steam sales and store sales, and not the app store sales for like Google Play Store and stuff like that.
So what we could see is them have a mobile dedicated store on here. I mean, that would be good for them if they are looking for mobile games, but they don't have enough to really fuel that. I think what we want is a pick up and go, but it may be far from what we actually get. The article says they're at least 2 years out and technically not greenlit for launch yet and is currently in a high level design phase, but take that with a grain of salt. As
So
it
if
does
anything
come-
comes out, it'll be paired with the PS6 then.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that we're not going to see it for a little while, since, as you say, Rue, we've just seen the PS Portal bleed last year, right? It would make sense. It's going to be
Exactly.
a few years off their next mobile thing, right?
And perhaps they'll do a paired, or perhaps this is what they'll release as PS6. Who knows? And all you got to do is connect it to your TV and it'll be more cloud. Who knows?
Hopefully it'll be like a combination of the Vita, the Portal, and the PSP.
I just want something handheld that will play my games locally, because I'm not always in a good spot, internet wise, and that's why I have a Steam Deck and why I play my Switch at times, is because of that.
Well, they could, if they did, and it was in development and it did come out, they could instantly have a large library on it just by making the Vita games and the PSP games and have all those available through a digital store. I don't know. It could be cool, man.
I feel like that would entice newer players who probably
Not
want
new,
nicer looking stuff. Yeah, maybe the old fans of those things, which I think the Vita didn't really do that well.
Not compared to the PSP, it didn't. No.
No, yeah, PSP was good. I have.
Well, it's all speculation station for now, but let's move on to something that Germany is doing quickly to round out the show, which is, I think, in my opinion, they proposed a ban on loot boxes. So this is a new push for restrictions at a federal level. I think it's a good idea. I don't think you should have this kind of money spending, gambling in video games just to get ahead. It's something that I kind of look down on. I don't think it's the greatest practice, but in this day and age, companies are really allowed to do anything and everything to try to get ahead. I'm gonna
Get
open it
screwed,
up to the
man.
panel to see
I
some thoughts
used
before.
to I
Ray.
used to play the FIFA. I used to get the loot boxes and gamble, and hopefully I would get the player that I want. I never got the player I want. Used to not even get gold. I used to get like silver, and I would get pissed off. And spend this, you get the premium player. Sometimes it would be a weak player, and it's a gamble. And yeah.
Well,
I was
I
there
think
for the start of the whole debacle with Battlefront 2. I
Oh my God.
pre-ordered
Oh.
Battlefront 2, was excited because the story looked great, and then the multiplayer had loot boxes.
Well, listen, the major problem with this is not only is it very similar to gambling, but they've broke it down by how the dopamine hits your brain, how they display it on the screen. Dude, they broke it all down. It's atrocious. I think that all the loot boxes should be pulled. I don't think any gamer fires up a game and goes, "Oh wow, microtransactions. Let's do that." No, they'll do it for skins for Fortnite and stuff like that. But that's nostalgia being sold to you. It's a kind of different. But when it comes to these boxes, man, it's very much like the slot machine. They know exactly what colors to flash, exactly how to present it to you to make you feel things and to get that dopamine flowing. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
So right now
100%.
I'm a Marvel snapper, and I do buy the Game Pass, and I do sometimes buy money for the mystery cards. And I'm like, yes, premium card. And I'm like, it's a card I already have. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, damn it, don't the computer know I got that damn card? It's like, ugh.
Looter shooters are bad enough, right? Like, listen, you play like a Diablo or you play a Destiny, right? And you pay 50 quid or whatever it is to play that title. And then with your friends, you spend like the next month or 3 grinding out the same mission over and over. Repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Why? Because you're trying to get the perfect roll, right? The gamble, and you're spending your time on it, and it's so frustrating. We did this earlier not earlier this year, last year, right? Me, Maker, Rue, I think Callie as well, a few of us, Ray, Diablo. We did that grind and we got into that loop, didn't we? And oh my god,
Right.
at the end of it, it was just torturous because you realized the percent drop rate for all the items you wanted was just, it was obscene, and it was done on purpose. It was done on purpose. It was to make you keep coming back, but it's so unfair, and that's just spending your time on it, man. Let alone when they convince you to
Right.
spend money on it, tens of hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Did you bring up Diablo? I'm sorry. Which one of us got to level 100 that season? Maker,
Right, that's
Maker,
a
what
very
level did you
different
get to?
topic. That's a different
Whoa!
topic.
Whoa!
Anyway,
Yeah,
Anyway, it's a different topic, you non-Stadia champions. Anyway, all right.
Oh!
To loot
Some of us
boxes.
resemble
all
that
right.
remark, okay?
Ouch.
I would say that there are definitely more things that are like very egregious about it. Genshin Impact is one that comes to mind because I know people spend like hundreds of dollars when a new character comes out to try to get it right, and it costs that much because it's a chance. Like you're not.
Yeah,
it's
and the
not like
percentage is so low, and sometimes they
Yeah,
forget to
it's like
put it in the
points.
fucking game. Sometimes
But
they
listen,
don't
right.
even put it for the drop, and you're still
Gambling's
trying to
not a
get
good
it.
thing. Gambling's not a good thing for anyone, not for adults who like gaming. But you know what? Gaming pulls in a lot of people who aren't our age, fellas. It pulls in a lot of children, right? I gamed when I was a kid, you lot did. And 10 years ago, when I was 14, 13-year-old, and I was in school, and all the fellas were on Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, everyone played FIFA, right? That was the #1 game, was FIFA. Well, what do you do on FIFA? You buy FIFA packs. All of the lads in school who could afford to, they had good teams. They had good teams. Why? Because they bought FIFA pack again and again and again. Their parents spent probably hundreds of pounds a month on FIFA packs for them to have good teams so they could show them off to their friends. And that is so toxic to teach a child. To teach a child, that's the hierarchy kids get in school, right? Is how good their FIFA team is. It's a version of it anyway. Did you get this Fortnite skin? That's the new version of it, right? But it's just so toxic that this is allowed on children.
Very relatable
You
story.
got,
Thank you for
honey,
sharing.
honey, did you spend
good
honey?
because
Did
if
you
you have
spend
more
two
money, it's
hundred
easier to
dollars
win,
on
right?
V-Bucks? Honey, did you spend $200? When you're looking at your credit card bill, and you say, "Honey, did you put $200 on V-Bucks?" What's V-Bucks? Ever happened? You know, because they have like on my thing, it's credit cards
There you go.
are received on the accounts. All the kid has to do is go buy, and they automatically have it. And I had to say, you
Don't they
got
have
one more
methods that you
time
can prevent
use
that?
our credit card to buy V-Bucks, you're
Well,
dead.
the thing is that loot boxes should be removed, not only for these practices that are absolutely ridiculous and all that stuff, but it also trickled into games that it shouldn't be in at all or even considered. Callie brought up Battlefront 2, another game that's one of my favorite of all times. Died an early death because of loot boxes. Shadow of War.
Yes.
They tried to put orcs in loot boxes. It's ridiculous. It is everywhere. At least Fortnite sells you the nostalgia, and that's what they're selling you. You don't have a chance of getting it. I mean, you can try to earn some stuff, yeah, but I just think it's kind of ridiculous how it's trickling into everything. And it almost all started with that damn horse armor from Oblivion. That was like $5 to buy.
WinStar.
Just saying.
Wow.
Well, I appreciate it. Squiz, did you have any words on loot boxes, any experiences before we close out the topic?
I may or may not have gotten a couple on Apex or on League of Legends or on Overwatch. I mean, they're good and bad.
You know what? I agree because I'm a hypocrite too because I every month I buy Marvel Snap. I have a Marvel Snap addiction, and so and I don't get the card that I want, and then I get more so I can get the card that I want, and I don't get it. So yeah,
And you know, another game that we all played when it came out, and we still play it from time to time. It's a family game, so this is another thing. It's not great for kids to see, man. That has loot boxes. Party Animals. Party Animals has loot boxes. They have a premium, and it even
yes.
looks like a spin to win machine. They have a premium
It's a
currency
little-
spin to win machine where you can
Yeah.
get the really cool skins on, right? And that's in a family game. That's built into a family game, so the kids play with their parents, with their brothers, and then they want to get a cool skin. So why wouldn't the mother want to get their kid something more so they can play together, right? That's another
And David,
marketing tactic. It's so
and
messed up.
that's what a bunch of fat cats and sit around the table and say how cute.
That's right.
The more cuter
Yes.
the pit. Let's get little alligators and bears and
100%.
So the
little-
disturbing thing is that these people want to manipulate the children's brains and your brain.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
And it works. It
got
works.
it.
Like I say, if you're a parent who wants to spend more quality time with your kid, and that quality time is you playing games with them on the console, playing some Party Animals, well, the kid's going to want a nice new skin, and maybe they don't want to play the game if they don't get a nice new skin. So yeah, you're going to spend 20 quid this month, and you're going to get them the new skin that you can only get by spinning to win. You know what I mean? And it's just so messed up. It's
I've
like you say,
never-
it gets the children sucked in, and then it sucks in the parents too on another level.
I'll never forget. I took my kid into the gas station and he was crying when he was young and he was screaming, "Daddy, I want that candy! I want that candy!" And I'm like, "No, no, son, that's a vapor. It's a vapor flavor. It's not
Oh my
candy.
goodness.
It's a vape
That's like
flavor.
candy
No,
cigarettes when I was a kid, man. Candy
Yeah,
cigarettes
and
when
I
I
was
was a kid. I used to love those things. And now look at me, I'm 20 and I smoke. Like it's not good. Look, Germany is setting a good precedent here. That's what my last comments on this. Germany is setting a really good precedent here. And I don't even think they've passed it. I think it's just been proposed by their parliament
Yeah.
and now it's going to get moved up the chain. But it's still hearing this as world news. It's a really good thing to hear because it's a toxic part of the industry that really should be regulated more.
They really should. 'Cause
Yeah,
even
you
if
know
they
what?
I
make
think it
the-
should stay the same. You know, rich people get the best stuff. You know,
I'm making shut up,
That's
man.
right. No.
So, someone disconnect him. Someone
Maker,
disconnect him.
wait till you have kids,
That's-
Maker.
Yeah.
You say that now, but wait till you have kids and you look at your bills and stuff. All right, you say that now, but wait till you
life's
have
not
kids.
fair. We should start the kids out early.
I'm other
No.
young.
I see later for you and David to adopt.
No, that's why I'm glad I grew up in an age of unlocking skins, unlocking levels was done through skill in the game. It wasn't done through money transactions. That all came later. So I'm glad my childhood wasn't tainted by that because I don't know how I would be if that
Good
came
make-
out that way. But hey, Germany's moving the right way and reversing it, and that's fantastic. And I want to thank everyone for their input, and let's go through the panel and see what everyone is up to this week. Wilson, no, we're not pulling up Discord, don't worry. I see you there. You're all like, "Oh, I gotta get ready.
Dude,
I'm coming
dude,
on
he-
camera."
Did you see this?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I'm 3, I'm 2, I'm 1.
No, but we'll
bro,
tell people what's
you know
up.
what I'm up to. You know what I'm up to. I'm going to be dying over and over again on Sekiro all weekend until I get that finished. Now, well, other than that, I'm just getting up to life stuff, man. I'm trying to get back up into the grind. I'm trying to sort out my resume and get out job apps and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But having fun hanging out with Cyborg City. If you're looking for some new friends, come hang out. I'm looking forward to
Absolutely.
Helldivers. Looking forward to
Yeah.
Helldivers. Hashtag Helldivers2 giveaway.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be
Maybe.
doing that spin of the wheel as well. Miss Phoenix says Maker for president. So let's
don't think so.
transition to
Miss
Maker of
Phoenix,
Chaos.
She didn't tell him
What
above
are
her
you
head.
up
He
to
already
this
has a
week?
nuclear button. Come on.
I probably played more Elden Ring. I'll be gone this weekend actually. But I'll be back next week.
Mhm.
Just gaming as usual.
Nice. And
Catch
we're
me
gonna
on
get
Twitter.
to some reviews. Yes, on Twitter. SPG, what are you going to be up to? We're coming up to next week, so what do you got going on?
I believe we're playing some BG3 tonight over on Cloud and
Oh,
Console. I
yeah.
think.
Tonight, here.
Yeah, Big John, the
Big
dragon
John.
wizard.
And the
And that's
horny
about
guy.
it, man. That's pretty much it. That's all I've got really going on. Gonna be back to it next week though.
For sure. Squids, what's going on? Where can people find you?
You guys can find me Squids Gaming under everything or Squids. I'll be streaming a lot of Power World, Pokemon, Monster Hunter, Apex, everything on Game Pass, I guess, and Luna stuff. You can check me out. I
Sweet.
stream pretty much almost every day, and got some podcasts too. Showtime's the Squids and the world famous Plant Eating Squid Show. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got popping right now.
Sweet, thanks. And Ray, the
Thanks for
gaming
having me
cyborg.
as well.
Oh, of course. Anytime,
First of
man,
all,
you're always invited.
my man Callie is live right now. He's about to do some Lethal Company, and I'm about to jump in and play with him. Thank you guys for thank you panel, thank you Rue for streaming in Cyborg City. Guys, please support Cloud and Console, support Rue, and all these guys on the panel. I love these guys. I'm out.
Well, thank you, panel. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to take it out, spin the wheel, and let everybody know that you can catch Callie Drew Vos over on his channel. He'll be doing Lethal Company and having some fun there. All right. Well, I want to thank the entire panel. They were absolutely awesome. We had a great discussion again today going over State of Play, the PlayStation Vita 2 rumors, as well as this Germany loot box. Well, let's spin the wheel and see what we get today for the winner's circle. And it's the Reeves. GG's. Welcome, welcome. You are in. All right, well, congratulations. You are today's winner into the winner's circle. And that is all we had for today on the download. Tune in next week where we'll have a roundtable podcast talking everything that's going on in gaming technology. Thank you, everyone in chat, for hanging out today. We really do appreciate you. And that's it for today and this week. Be kind and bring peace into the world. All right, we'll see you next time.
Try to believe in me. Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice tide, but a single